Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Okay, so understand, don't get confused. Okay, people are getting confused in some steps actually. Now, first of all, how many required hosts I required? I said I required 40 IP addresses per network. Now, who can serve my this purpose? 2 raised to 6. So if I go to 2 raised to 6, I am able to achieve this. That means if I go here and take the 6-bit out of it, I would be able to achieve that. Correct? So I would say it would be H, that is host. H is equal to 6. Okay. Now I would like to find out, okay, if I got how many hosts I can get if I go to 2 raised to 6. Now I would like to understand how many network bits I can get. So network bit means how many total host bit which you have. Now how many host bit I have? Only 8. And how many actual host I required? Only 6. So n would be total. That means if I take these two host bit, okay, if I take these 2 bit from the host, correct, now my purpose would be served only on this. I required only this 6-bit in order to achieve to get 40 IP addresses. Correct? I got 2 additional bits in my hand. Correct? Sixth, okay, 6-bit is over here. This is my 2 bits. Now, if I convert this bit from host bit to the network side, correct, I would serve my purpose. That means I am actually subnetting my network into smaller chunks now. Correct? This is what the calculation is saying. First, you need to identify how many bits you required for IP addresses. Now that purpose is solved over here. I come to know that 2 raised to 6, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I got this 6 bit, I would be able to achieve this. Then how many bits are actually required for your network? Then total host bit minus actually you require. Total host bit would be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And how much actually I required? 6. So I subtracted this 8 minus 6 means 2 bit. If I convert it into the network, I would serve the purpose. So I am going to take this 2 bit and give it to this network side. Correct? This is very important. Correct? Now, how many total network bits then converted? Okay. So how many network bits are there? If I say the formula would be total network bits. How many total network bit we have? 24. At how many we are converted? These two. So initially it was 24 because our network bit was 24 plus I'm adding this 2. So total would be what? 26. So if I change it to the CDR method 192.168.1.0/26. Okay. Now if I gave if I gave two network additional bit, this would be happening over here. Correct. Now remember that this is initially sometimes looks complex that you have not done it, but it's very simplified method. I will once again explain you. Okay, look at these things very carefully what I am doing it, because the next example you guys are going to do it. This is a class C. This is the default information which we have, correct? Now first of all, my company said I required 40 IP addresses per department, correct? This is my requirement. Agree, no problem. Then how do I start calculating? I know that this is the last 8 bit which I have for the host side only. The rest of the 24 bit I cannot touch it because that is the network bit which is a fix. So 192.168.0. This is my host side of the class A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is my host side, correct? Is it correct? This is my host side. Now how much I required? I required 40 IP addresses. That is my required host. The formula is something like this. Required host is equal to I required 40 IP addresses for that. Now who can serve that purpose for me? Okay, the purpose would be served with the help of this method. If I say 2 raised to 1 is equal to 2, okay, 2 raised to 2, 2 raised to 3 is also not going to do that. 2 raised to 4 is also not going to do that. 2 raised to 5, it is also not going to do that, correct? 2 raised to 6, yes, he can do that because I'm getting more than 40 IP addresses. That means if I change my host, means H is equal to 6 bit. If I take only 6 bits from out of this 8 bit, I'm able to serve my purpose. So H would be the number of bit which is required for your host, correct? Okay, so I come to know that what is a host. Now let's understand how many converted network bit. That means how much I need to convert them into network bits. So next thing is then how many I need to convert it into network. How many I need to convert into network then. The formula is very simple. Okay, formula is very simple. Needs to convert into network then. Okay, formula is very simple. The formula is equal to total host bit. How much we have? Total host bit is 8. But actually how much you required? I required only 6 to serve my purpose. So how many I need to send it to network side? 2 bit. So I will say n is equal to 2. That means if I reduce or if I convert this way, what will happen? I got two value. H is equal to 6. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This 6 bit is only required to serve this purpose. Then I need to take this 2 host bit and give it to the network side. Correct? So how much converted not network bit it would be? These two. So my total network bits would be is equal to, earlier how much network bit which we have a 24 because it is /24 IP address, correct? This is a /24. plus additionally I'm going to add 2 on the top of it. So total would be 26. Correct? So if I take only 6 bit, that will serve my purpose. I will take this 2 network bit and give it to the from the host bit and give it to the network bit. So total network would be 26. So if I would like to write it in the CDR method, I should say 192.168.1.0/6. Okay, that's great. So I can started doing the subnetting. That's fine. Then what is the subnet mask for this? Okay. Now what is a by default subnet mask? 255.255.255. It's correct. This is 255. This is 255. This is 255. But now these two is also converted into the network. Okay, this last 2 bit is also converted into the network. Am I right? Correct. So this is nothing but 2 raised to 7, which is nothing but 128, correct, plus your 64, correct. Total would be, I believe, 192 if I'm not wrong. So the subnet for this network would be 255.192. Correct. Now understand how many network we are getting and per network how much we are getting. So total number of network would be, okay, we already have n value, n is 2, correct. It is nothing but total number of network would be 2 raised to this n value. So it is something like this, 2 raised to 2. This is n value, this is 2 raised to n. The formula is equal to 2 raised to n straight away for the network, total number of networks which we require. So how much network I'm getting if from this network? It would be 4, correct. Per network, how many computers I'm getting or how many IP addresses I'm getting, correct. So it is nothing but 4. So if I say total number of networks would be 2 raised to n. The formula is 2 raised to n. Now what is the n value which we said? The n value is actually 2. So technically speaking, it's 2 raised to 2. So the total value would be, total network would be 4. So if I took only 2 bits from the host and give it to the network, I am divided this network into 4 chunks. Okay, now how many IP addresses you are getting in this particular 4 chunk? The chunk means IP per block, means IP per network would be, the formula is 2 raised to our h value, correct. Where is my h value? We find out over here. This is my h value, correct. So 2 raised to 6 means this is 2, correct, and 2 raised to 6 is the value, is equal to 64, correct. Technically how much we can use? 64 minus 2 per network. Per network I am getting this value. How much network I am getting? This. Okay, that's fine. But how the network range can be defined now? What would be the range? Now to calculate the range, you just need to have some formula. Range is nothing but, what is your default value for your network? 256. Okay, simply divide your last subnet value from 256. How much network I'm getting? 64. Okay, so that every 64 you would see your network would be changed now, correct? So this is how it could be written. My first network would be 192.168.1.0 to 192.168.1.63. So total would be 64, correct? This would be my first subnet. This is my separate network. You can look, I got one network, but now I got four network logically divided, correct? This is my first subnet. So second subnet would be starting with 192.168.1.64 plus you are going to add more 64 into this. The value would be 127, 192.168.127. This would be my second subnet.
Hey viewers, our Master in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high-level DevOps positions. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Correct. The third one be 192.168. 168.1.128 to 192.168.1.191. Correct? This is my third subnet. So you can see I divided a single network into 4 chunks now. Correct? So if I say 192.168.1.192, what is the last number? 192.168.1.255. This is my fourth sub. Correct? And what is a subnet mask for this? For all the subnets which we have created, what is the subnet mask for this? Now you can see the subnet mask is subnet mask would be 255.255.255.192. So you can imagine this is called as subnetting. I told you practically you don't require to do this thing, but you should understand how these numbers are actually coming when you are actually dealing with subnetting. Correct? You can see every number, correct? Every number which we are doing, it is only because of this subnetting part. Means I want to divide the part into different parts. So you can see I got one network ID, but I divided that network into these 4 small networks now. Now you know that the first IP address and last IP address, I cannot use it for every network, whether it's a subnet or classful or classless. The first IP address and last IP address, I cannot use it. So every subnet you will get only 62 IP address, because I told you -2, only 62 IP address. Now all these 4 separate networks are there. It's completely logically divided. Know that by looking at it, you feel that it is something same, but technically it is completely different, it is isolated. Correct? Subnetting makes our life easier in this particular way. Correct? So understand, I got one network, but I took only 2 bits from host to the network side. I took this 2 bit because my purpose will serve only within 6 bit. I don't require this 2 bit to be added. So I took it from here and give it to the network. I do not change anything to the existing network at all. correct? So I would be able to serve my purpose over here, correct? Is it clear how I did the subnetting in class C, or any doubts in this? Everyone. If I give one example, you to do with the same mechanism, correct? Will it be possible to do it for you? Now this is a class C which we have seen, correct? I will give you the class C example. Okay. The example would be something like this. Okay. So look at here. This is my class C network, correct? My requirement is I required 20 hosts per network. So divide this network in such a way I should able to get 20 or more than get 20 IP addresses per network. So you have to give me everything. You have to give me how many networks I can create, or you can say how many subnet is created, correct? Per subnet, how many computers I can connect. Okay. What would be subnet mask? Okay. How do I write the IP in? How do I not how do I write? What is a CIDR imprint? What is a CIDR representation then? Okay. Provide all the ranges or all the range of all the subnets. Correct? Will it be possible? You can take a break of 10 minutes. Okay. After that, we are going to solve this and we will see how many you are able to solve this. Okay. So let's take a break of 10 minutes. And once we come back, you can try to solve it. Otherwise, we will solve it together. How we can subnet this network with the formula which we have derived. Okay. Try to solve it with this method. First of all, find out how many required hosts we required. Now, according to this, we require 20 hosts per network. Okay, that's great. Okay, the subnet mask would be 225, representation, chat interview, host 2 rest 5, correct. Per network, there would be host 5, network is 3, per network 3 rest 2. Okay, how you can see idea to 31, 32 to 63, 64 to 64. How many networks would be created? 2 raised to 3. Am I right? That means 8 ranges.
Nine
Correct.
to three, 8.
8 range. Okay, that's fine. Correct. Correct. And per network, how many number of computers we are getting? 32. 32 is not actual use. 32 minus 2. That means we are using 30. First and last we cannot use it because first is a network ID, last is a broadcast ID. For okay, that's great. Okay, now this is a class C subnetting. Correct? We can do something which is actually a dividing of a network into the smaller chunk based on requirement. Now sometimes they are not going to ask you the straight question. Okay, sometimes what they can give you. Now I ask the question in a very straightforward manner. Okay, this is the IP address, this is the number of hosts I required. Kindly find out these things. Correct? Now while you are going for certifications, they will not ask you the question like this. They will straight away give you something like this. They would say 200.78.19.10. This is one of the IP address. Okay, and CIDR method is 28. Okay, calculate the host and calculate everything over here. Sometimes they will give you CIDR. Sometime, okay, I hope my screen is visible to all now. So the question they will ask you, it is something like this. Sometimes they will give you some CIDR value. Okay. Sometimes they will give you the subnet mask and ask you to calculate, find out everything. Correct? Method is same. You need to find out that methodology would be same. Correct? Okay. Now here you can talk about this. Can you do this example? Can you do the same thing for me? CIDR method is given. Now you need to find out everything. That means 24 bits are actually CIDR. So that means this is for a network. That means officially it was 24 plus we are added 4 bit into that. That means this is my network bit which I have added. So whatever formula which we gave you, based on that you need to calculate the things. That means 4 bit for host. Means 2 raised to 4 means 16. So 16 would be the network numbers. 16 would be per host, per network you would be doing that. So these are the some type of quick and tricks you will be getting in your exam. Sometimes they will give you the subnet mask only. Whatever subnet mask is available, they will give you the subnet mask. Now try to solve this question and let me know. This is also class C and check how you can do this. Okay, how many subnet mask or how many subnet you can create in this actually? I believe there are 16 subnets. That means 16 different small networks which you can create. Within each and every subnet, how many number of computers would be there? It would be 16 minus 2. That means usable IP addresses would be 14. First and last IP address would be act like a broadcast and subnet ID. Correct? So you can see it's a simple term actually. Here is 28. That means 4 bits are already transferred from host to network. Correct? The only bit is remaining is 4 for host. It's a simple. It's a 2 raised to 4 is nothing but 16. 2 raised to 4 is 16. So number of hosts and number of networks would be here. Correct? Actual usable would be 16 minus 2. Okay. After that, what would be the subnet mask? Now first 4 bits are transferred. That means it's simply 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 60. Correct? These are the 4 bits which is actually transferred from host to the network side. Correct?
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
So calculate the subnet mask accordingly. Now let's do that. Keep posting on the chat. Now let's focus on the next subnetting method, which is for class B. Now there is no such difference, but understand how we can do it. We should have at least one example should be done by your hand, so it will be possible for you to understand. You have to practice a lot because this is somewhere you need to understand each and everything by practice. Now let's talk about class B. Class B subnet. It is the same thing actually we are following, no doubt about that. Now the requirement, I got something like this. My company gave me the IP address said 192.16.0.0. Okay. Now by default, the CIDR for class B would be 16 because 16 bits are for network side and 16 bit for host side. 255.255.0.0 would be the default subnet mask for class B. Correct? Now my actual company says we want to configure 1000 IP addresses per branch. Okay, whatever number of branch, every branch is using the same IP address scheme because we want to utilize the IP address properly. So rather giving a different IP address, what I will do, I will break this big network. Now to be honest, 2 raised to 16 means 65,536. This is a big number which we are getting as a IP address. Correct? Now I would like to divide this complete network into smaller chunk, logically smaller chunk with the help of subnetting. Now the requirement is 1000 IP address. So I need to create such a subnet. You should fulfill this requirement. Correct? So how we can do that? Okay. Once again, our formula is same. So what is my required host? Required host would be 1000. Now who can serve this particular purpose? Now here is somewhat tricky if you are going in class A and a class B. Actually class C is very simple because the maximum you can go up to 2 raised to 5, 2 raised to 6, 2 raised to 7, 2 raised to 8. 2 raised to 8 is also not possible, but 2 raised to 7. But if you go to the class B and class A, the number would be very much higher. Okay, so here you need to memorize some some numbers, and that would be something like this. If you go for 2 raised to 10, it is nothing but 1024. 2 raised to 11, 2048. So there are few numbers you need to remember in this particular case. 2 to the power of whatever maximum number you can think of. Okay, that which we need to play with this particular subnetting. So at least few numbers you need to memorize it, or you should know how to build those numbers. Now in this particular example, we are looking for 1000, correct? So I know that 2 raised to 9 is equal to 512. Okay, so if I see 2 raised to 9 is equal to 512, correct? Now I need to keep doing double over here. This is 512. Then I need to have 2 raised to 10. What I should do, I should double this number. This is actually 1024. Okay, then 2 raised to 11, double this number, 2048, correct? This is how it is going to work. This is how you need to, at least you need to understand 2 raised to 11, 2 raised to 12. It is just you just need to double that number. Now how many number of required host I required? 2 raised to 100. Then I believe that 2 raised to 10, okay, that will serve my purpose. So what I will do, my h would be 10, correct? That would be my host. I do have total 16-bit available for host. Out of that, 10 which is actually required. The second thing is how to convert the network bit. So total host bit, how much we have? Total host bit is minus how much we required is equal to network bit. So total how many we have? Total host bit we have 16. Out of that, how much I required? I required only 10. So how much I can go for the network? Remaining 6. So my n is equal to 6. Correct? So you can imagine it's very simple. Then how many total network bit would be having? How to calculate total network bits? Total network bit is equal to 16, because 16 bit is actually available for the network this side, and this is the additional 6 which we got, correct? So total would be 22. Correct? Understand, this is same process which we are following only for class B, correct? Then what would be the subnet mask over here? Now you can see I took 6 bit, still I do have a 10 bits over here. Total here is 16, correct? Out of that I took only 6 from here. So if I want to find out the subnet mask for this, if I simply say here it is, okay, I just want to write down this particular bit because 10 bit already available. This is 8 bit plus 2 from here, so 6 are remaining from this line. So if I say 128, okay, if I write it down something like this, 0 0 0 0 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now out of this 8, these 6 are transferred to network. Correct? That means 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4. I believe it's 252 if I'm not wrong. Okay. So if I say my subnet mask would be this much. So it is whatever 128 plus 64. Correct? Is 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4. Okay. Now I believe it's 252. Okay, so subnet mask would be for this would be 255.252.0 because this 8 bit plus this 2 bit, it is still for the host side. Correct? I just took additional 6 bit from the host and pass it to the network side. So this is my subnet mask for this particular network. Correct? Now how many subnets which we are getting? We will see that. Formula is the same, the one which we have used for class A, sorry, class C. However, only the number of IP addresses and network would be more in case of class B and class A because it does have a very huge range. So subnet would be 2 raised to n. Now what is the n value? This is the n value. That means 2 raised to 6 would be my number of subnet. Okay, 2 raised to 6, I believe it is 64. Correct? And how many number of hosts you are getting? It would be 2 raised to 10. Okay, is equal to I believe 2 raised to 10 is 1024. So I'm getting 64 network. Within that 64 network, 1024 minus 2 per network, I'm getting 1022, that much number of IP addresses. Correct? Now how do I find out the range? Okay, range I told you, range is equal to 256 minus your subnet mask, last subnet mask value 252 is equal to, I believe the output would be 4. So range of 4 would be possible over here. So range of 4 means what? How to find out my first IP block? Okay, it should start with 172.16.0.0. This would be my first IP address, and last IP address would be for my first network 172.16.3.255. So total 0 to 3 means 4. It is range of 4. So these is my first range of my IP address. Second range would start with 172.16.4.0 to 172.16.7.255. So it keeps increasing this. So this is once again subnetting. If you calculate this, okay, this is once again going to calculate it in a simple way. You can also calculate with 1025 divided by 256. It is again 4. So if you calculate those 4 values, it is nothing but 1024. So this is the subnetting of a class B. Formula is same. There is no difference. The only thing would be the number would be little bit higher side. Correct? Now I will give you one simple example for class B as well. Let's see whether you guys are able to do it or not. Okay. Now, I required the answer. You should answer me this. Okay. Okay. This is my main IP address. My requirement would be I require 6500 IP address per office. Per office I required it. Okay. So now let's do this. Everyone start using this formula.
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Let's do it. Start solving this problem. Okay, if you're solving it, make sure that you should put it in a chat box. I hope it is clear why we are doing subnetting. Okay, tourist. Okay, so you got H value already disclosed by Sobia. Now it's very simple. Find the N value, calculate everything. Okay, host bit, network bit, total 19. So you move 3 bits from host to the network side. That's great. So type the CIDR value, Surya Tejaswini, and try to find out what could be the first range of your IP addressing. Let's find the way. Anything else completed that? Kindly put it on a chat. So will it be possible to do it for class A, all of you? Same mechanism. Method is same, no change in method. Okay, try it for the class A as well. I will give you one example over here. Now the class A IP address would be, now the free IP address or a private IP address, which we know that it's 10.0.0, correct? Okay, so by default 8 would be the network bit, 24 would be the host bit in this case, correct? Now my requirement is, I required 400, okay, 700 IP addresses per network. Okay. It is little bit time consuming. Okay. Kindly provide me, they will provide you something like this. Kindly provide the network ID and broadcast ID for fourth subnet. Now try this as well. Everybody, please try these things. It's very important for exam perspective. They will ask you the question based on this. Okay, that's great, Chaitra. Now everybody start creating the subnetting for this example. Okay, that's good, Deepika. Keep it up. Start calculating. Method is the same one. That's great. Divya. Okay, let's try to solve this question. Now this question would have one more added thing. They want to find out the network ID and broadcast ID of fourth subnet. This is quite interesting. Sometimes they will ask you network ID, broadcast ID. Sometimes they give you some IP address in the middle. Anyhow, whatever coming to you, you have to fit into this formula. That's it. Now there are multiple formulas available for class A, class B, class C. However, this is a very simplified way to handle it. Correct? So let's try to solve this example now. This is belong to class A. I don't require to explain the same thing again for class A as well. Try to fit the same example and give me the answer for all these things. How many subnet would be created? Now I required how many computers per subnet? What would be the subnet mask? What would be the CIDR representation? Provide all the ranges. Now, not all the ranges in terms of A, because there is a huge number of networks. At least he's asking you to write down the first 5 subnets, and out of that, the fourth subnet, you need to provide the network ID and broadcast ID. So you need to define the range properly. Chaitra, solve these questions. Let me copy per solution. Okay, let me copy it to everyone. Okay, this is the solution provided by Chaitra. Check whether you're also having the same solution or not. So I hope subnetting is clear to everyone. what method we are using and what exactly we are doing. We are actually having 65,000 computer. We just want to divide those IP address logically in a separate part. However, there is still one problem is there. I will tell you what that problem is. And there is one more method we are going to see that is called as VLSM, that is variable length subnet masking. But let me get a confirmation that you have solved this problem and you are able to understand how to do the subnetting. Is it done? Anyone solve other than Chaitra who solved this particular question? Okay, now I will tell you one more interesting problem in subnetting. Now, subnetting is also not 100% foolproof method to use and optimally use the IP address properly. Now, I will give you one small example, and with the help of that example, you will come to know what could be the problem which is coming when we are doing subnetting actually. Okay, let's create. I hope subnetting is clear for everyone. So we will jump one more technique to make sure that subnetting should be done in a proper way. Now we know that we are logically dividing a particular network into the smaller chunk, correct? Now let's take one more example of subnetting and understand what is a problem. So if I say this is a class C, now I'm specifically taking class C because it's very easy to understand. The number of hosts would be very less, so it would be very much easy to understand. Okay. So this is my default class C network which we have. We do have the subnet mask of 255.255, 255.255.0. Correct? Now my requirement is something like this. I have an office, a small office, and I would like to have something which is required as per the department. I do have 4 departments in my organization. Correct? Department 1, Department 2, Department 3, Department 4. Correct? So you can see these 4 departments is actually required some different set of IP addresses. So you can say my IT department required 10 IP addresses. My HR required 20. My admin required 50. My call center guys required 40. Correct? So I do have 4 different departments and I would like to divide a single IP address as per this requirement. Correct? Now, normally we are doing subnetting with our method. Now, what is our method? Now, we will find out the required host. Now, as per our normal subnetting method, we always try to find out the maximum number of required hosts. I said, okay, the maximum number of required hosts is 50. Correct? That's fine. Now, who can serve this particular purpose? Correct? If I say 2 raised to 4 would be 16, 2 raised to 5 would be 32, 2 raised to 6 would be 60. So my H would be 60, H would be 6. Correct?
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.